Hello, here we are at day 6 of following the energy in life and biz. So how is everybody doing today? I'm just fresh back from the salon, going a little lighter, starting to blend those grays. I just gotta go with the flow. Before I was trying to cover them up, like resist what was happening. I find this all super relevant. I was resisting the energy of what was happening, grays coming through, and I thought, why do that? For what purpose do I resist? And what a relief to just follow the energy instead and just keep going lighter and start to blend it in. So I'm feeling different and new. So welcome everybody who's jumping on. This is 14 days of following the energy in life and business. And I'm talking about some of my most favorite topics. The topics that have really changed my reality, my life, my business, all the things. So welcome everybody. Thank you, Carrie. Thank you. Yeah, it's feeling good, feeling light, feeling fresh. And so where will we go today? I wonder what we'll talk about. So I wanted to tap into the energy of points of view. Our subconscious programming, our beliefs, because they really do affect how we show up, what we choose to do, create, what we attract, all the things. And so it is really helpful to know what your points of view are. What are your beliefs? You may have heard them as like limiting beliefs. So, points of view. The best way to know what your points of view are your reality. How is your life showing up? Is money hard to come by? Does it always seem like there's never enough? What is your point of view about money? That's like a great one because it's reflected back to us so dynamically all the time. What is your point of view about it? Is it easier to spend than to make? Right? And then where is that reinforced in your reality? Right? Because it's like, as we've talked about in previous videos, now all these videos are kind of building upon them. We talked a little bit about the be, do, have model. This is from Neuro-Linguistic Programming, NLP. And the idea here is that everything that is around, that we're seeing right now, right, in our reality is from what we were being previously. I really love the way Abraham Hicks talks about this as well, because they're always saying how what's reflected in our reality is actually old news. It's like who we were yesterday, who we were in the past. And that's what we're seeing now. And so if we want to create a different reality, wow, I'm just getting this on so many different levels. If we're wanting to create a different reality, we have to put our attention towards what we are desiring, not what is right in front of you. That's the hard part, right? Because it's like if you're looking at your bank account, I got bills to pay and the savings is not as high and the checking's not as high with where you want to go, then you just stay in that like behind the 8 ball feeling, right? Like you're always trying to catch up. Yet, if you were to, yes, have awareness, right? It's not like close your eyes and don't look at what's going on. Have awareness and consciously put your attention towards creating what you desire, what is that? Having overflow of savings, having credit cards paid off, what is that? And what would it take for you to command your attention to there instead, rather than being at effect of what's going on in front of you? Because that will just continue to perpetuate the same reality, right? And I talk about this with my clients. I call it you don't want to become codependent to the energies, right? And codependent to what's coming on around you, right? Where you're at effect of what's happening versus you being empowered, taking command of where your attention is. So with be, do, have, it's all about where's my attention, where are my thoughts, what are my points of view, because that's going to inform what I choose to do. If I am at a place of, well, it's just like, oh, I give up and like this is too hard or something like that, then I won't create. I won't choose. Same in business, right? If you are desiring more to be going on your business, more clients, more action, more customers, more recognition, all of that, you have to show up now like it's happening. Like that's like, yeah, you got that. That's already happening. But if you are in the place of it's not happening, clients aren't coming, blah, 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 woe is me, then when we're in that disempowered state, I'm not feeling creative or excited or enthusiastic to create my business, to create my life. So what is it that stimulates that in you? And I would say that I was really looking at this energy recently because I was like, okay, what does it take for me to be constantly enthusiastic, excited about my biz? Because I love what I do. I love what I do. And I do desire to expand and scale and reach more and serve more and do all the things and become more abundant and all those things. So what is it that gets me enthusiastic is every time I'm facilitating, when I go live, when I do a one-on-one session, when I run a group call. So I was like, why don't I run a 14-day thing on live, right? Because if that stimulates it in me, what will that create for others, right? Because you have to look at what's going to stimulate it in you, because in entrepreneurship, I mean, you are the source. You are it. You're it. That's it. No one else is coming to save you. And this is why entrepreneurship is such a dynamic reflection of who we be, where we're at, what's going on, because there is no one else. No one's there to heal you. No one's there to change it. No one's there to encourage you to get up each day and choose it. No one's there encouraging you to go work out, take care of yourself, go to bed early, whatever, right? So what is it that you could choose to create that enthusiasm for yourself? And why I call this limiting points of view is because it's the points of view that we have that are either going to energize us or deplete us. Now, our points of view can come from all sorts of things, right? Like how we grew up, what our family's points of view are, traumas that we've been through, experiences, right? Like maybe if we've been through a rough childhood or something like that, and then you had a dysregulated nervous system, so then maybe you decided to work in like a high stress environment, like a hospital, and then you saw more trauma, and then it's like life is really traumatic, and because you see a lot of it, it's reinforced back to you. That's such a good example going into working in a hospital, because it's like you are seeing all the trauma all day long. And so it's almost like your perception of reality shifts, right? Versus someone who's not working there and not seeing that constantly. They have a different reality. And so what points of view, I'd love to hear from you all. What points of view do you have that are creating stuckness for you, that don't have you showing up? Is it, I can't create a business? What is it, showing up online? I'm like, I get too anxious, I can't do it. Like, what are your points of view that are stopping you from choosing? From choosing. Because this is literally it. I mean, it's like, if you break it down really pragmatically, if you just choose, take like messy, imperfect action, choose, get awareness, you get more information. Choose, get more information. Choose, get more information. And this is functioning from that yes, no universe that I was talking about on the judgment day versus right or wrong. And if we're in really stuck with the right or wrong energy, then we don't choose, right? And this is where all limiting points of view come from, but judgment. It's judgment every time, because a limiting point of view basically is a conclusion and saying, well, so it shall be. And it usually tends to be the, woe is me ones. For me, it's inconsistent energy. Some days I want it, some days I don't want anything. Yeah, so then you can just, anything that is you're perceiving energetically, you can just look at, well, where am I inconsistent with myself? Where am I unwilling to be, and I like to say persistent, because consistency indicates that you must do the same thing every day. You must do the same thing. And I appreciate what people are saying, because when you continue to choose over and over again, so those little micro habits make a huge impact on your life. And I like to offer a little twist of, how about it be persistence? Persistence. Because then you can follow the energy each day. Like for me, my intention with these 14 days alive was, I'm going to persistently show up each day live for 14 days. Persistent. I didn't like the idea of setting a specific time each day, because I was like, I like following the energy. I like to see where things land. What if, I don't know, like especially today, I thought my hair appointment was going to run a lot longer, and I was like, I don't know, maybe I have to do live after acupuncture. But I like the freedom of being persistent, that I get to continue to take in information, choose, take in more information, choose, and not be locked into something. So going back to the idea of it being inconsistent, or the energy is like waxing and waning, it's kind of like, what have you made wrong about that? What if you could follow the energy? What if someday was a high creation day, then it was like, cool, create. And then if something was a low day, it's like, okay, what's going on here? What am I aware of? What points of view are coming up that are stopping me? My point of view, I'm not an entrepreneur type. Ooh, interesting. Okay. Yeah, wow. Okay, hear the energy between these two. Yeah, I'm trying to be an entrepreneur. Like, I just started, I think I'm going to do it. And, I have this little like side business, and it's happening kind of like, I don't know. It's not, I like post on social media. You got that? I'm an entrepreneur. I create social media content, and I'm working on creating offers and selling them and working for myself. And I really love the freedom. There's an ownership to it versus an apology. So you can see with that, that's such a great example. I'm glad you shared that, because I'm sure you're not alone too. If you have the point of view, it's like, I'm not the entrepreneurial type, or I'm not cut out for it, or whatever, then you won't show up like you are, and therefore not create it. So it's like, you have to decide first. You choose first. You go first. That was like my post today, the energy of that. You have to choose first before you can have the thing. So what have you decided that an entrepreneur is, or the type is? And what would it take to have your energy, whatever that is, show up in a way to create it? Meaning, what's coming to mind is human design. Because I think I'm a generator, so I'm like naturally kind of can create a lot when I'm in the flow. And I'm thinking of my friend Lauren Armstrong, who is a projector and talks to projectors online a lot about creating business. Because the idea here is, I'm not a human design expert, but she is, so definitely go check it out. We did some collabs on here, so scroll down, you'll see those. But she talks about how it's like the energy is just different there with projectors, and it's like if they're constantly trying to compare themselves to a generator, then it's like always falling flat, always seeing where they're wrong, versus what's right about your energy. And what would it take to create a business the way you function? A. And then B, what is even an entrepreneur anyway? I mean, you can just create whatever you want. I guess that's the whole point of choosing this. No, is this like the freedom of entrepreneurship is I can create my schedule. I can create what I want it to look like. You want to work a couple days a week? You want to work every day? What is it for you? What's success for you? And have you decided that just because someone else's version of success is like 2 million followers and multi-7-figure biz and a full schedule is their version of success? Is that what you want? What is your version of success? And what if you went after that? And so it's like, whose point of view is that, right? With like how you're defining it. what's a good way to recognize that black or white thinking when it happens, and how can we reframe, inquire to move through it? Great question. Black and white thinking. So black and white thinking is all or nothing thinking. Oh, this always happens. This never happens. If you're going into qualifiers like that, where it's just like, this always happens, this never happens, that's a good indication that you're in some really rigid black and white thinking. Because ideally, we want to be in more expansive, flexible thinking. Oh, that's interesting. I've noticed that happen a couple times. Even if you think it's all the time, our brains will jumble up the information to match your point of view. So if you've seen it a couple times, your brain might want to go into some ease about it and be like, oh, well, this happens all the time. Let me categorize it and just to make sense of it really quickly. But the thing is, when we actually take the time to look into it, we can usually find some sort of time where it doesn't happen, right? And so that's where we just want to be really present and aware that we're choosing it. So I would say the qualifiers are really good. Like, this is always happens, this never happens to me, I never win, see? And they tend to be all judgmental conclusions. This is bad and it's wrong. This is bad and it's wrong. This is bad and it's wrong. I mean, that's literally how we function our entire lives. And it's all contraction. So please watch the judgment one, because that was really potent, and you'll just continue to get it at deeper and deeper levels. Because when we can come from a place of question, then we invite possibilities that maybe that doesn't always happen. What else is possible here? Even if you believe you've had really terrible luck your entire life, well, what else is possible to turn it around, to create something different, to tune into a different radio station? Oh yeah, thank you for all my hair. I want it so bad. I manifest, I work hard, I do everything recommended, but I can't get the business off the ground, can't even have consistent housing. What do you do when the universe wants you to fail? Well, and so let's look at that, because this is really helpful. I want to break this comment down because it has so much information in it. So I appreciate you for sharing. I want it so bad. I want it so bad is lack. I want it so bad I don't have it. Ugh, I am doing all the things. I work so hard and I don't have it. Nothing's working. Then our attention is on lack and what's not working. What I would encourage you to do is seek to train your attention to anything that is working. If you're able to join this live right now and type it out and have the space and the freedom to do that, how does it get better than that? That you have some freedom to do that. What would it take to put your attention towards that more often, that energy? Because that is generative energy. And focusing your attention on what you see is lack and will contract energy and not create what you want. And so when we say something like, what do you do when the universe wants you to fail? That's not actually a question. Do you see? It's actually a statement with a question mark attached. Because you've actually already decided that the universe wants you to fail, so you must show up that way. Because you've concluded that. And so you're asking well, what do I do? But I've already decided this is happening, so there's nothing I can do. So what if you were to reframe it that the universe is neutral and actually just reflecting back to you where your point of view is, where your attention is? Because that is our point of attraction. And that's something that it is effortful to train. Right? If that's where we naturally go, then we might have to do things like wake up right away and listen to a guided meditation, or do some journaling or something like that, right? When our brain is a more able to reprogram because you're in a relaxed brainwave state. That's what I would look at. Really training your attention to anything that you could be grateful for, excited for, anything that is working. Because when you start to look for it, you will see more of it. Because your brain reflects it back to you. How does it get better than that? Man, Jen here. Yep. I get it. I get it. Wow, thank you. That contraction piece makes a lot of sense. Yeah, because wow. And I was listening to Abraham Hicks this morning, and they said something about when we're putting our attention to what we are desiring, it creates relief. And I was like, bingo. Bingo. It creates relief. Relief. The exhalation. Because when we're focused on what we don't have, the lack, what's not working, we go into contraction and judgment and wrongness of us. And then that doesn't feel good. And that's all resistance. And when we're in that space, we are slowing down what we want. We're slowing it down because we're focused on what we don't have. And then we reinforce it more and more and more. So it's like, if you can get this one thing, the judgment is contraction. What's wrong? What's bad? Good, bad, right? Versus it just is. So what would it take to train your attention to what you want to create? Which means it might look like you're delusional because it hasn't shown up in this reality yet. And that's how we create. What other questions do folks have about reprogramming, where you're stuck? I encourage folks, it doesn't have to be this like really complex thing. I mean, there are just so many different ways to reprogram. There's no wrong way. The idea here is we just want to retrain your attention. And that means that's like effortful. That's you taking a second to, oh, wow, I'm going into lack. What else could I choose right now? Right? It's not wrong. I'm going to lack and wrongness. No, not that. What else could I choose right now? What's going to create greater here? And literally training your attention to focus on that. And that's the process. So it might be like I said, a guided meditation, visualization, hypnosis is great. Journaling, again, there's no one like right or wrong way. I love also just being really present when I'm going into lack, getting really assertive with myself, demanding myself that I ask a question, right? It's like we can ask the universe to give to us, to contribute to us, but we demand of ourselves. It's not the other way around. We can't like ask ourselves and then demand the universe, you better do this for me. The universe is like, yo, what are you going to choose? So it's like, what demand could you make of yourself? Not in a wrong way, just demand like, I'm going to choose this. I am choosing this, no matter what it takes. It's that energy. And it requires some intensity, especially when the intensity of the lack, the scarcity, the wrongness of you has been so overdeveloped. I mean, I tell folks it's like that muscle has been at the gym 24/7. It's on the keto diet. It's like done all the things. It's worked out so hard. And then you come in here, the other side is like, I'm going to focus my attention on gratitude now and what feels good. And that muscle's like, I haven't been to the gym in years, right? It's like the wrongness muscle is so overdeveloped. It's going to take some time, right? So what if you just were in some allowance with yourself to observe when you had a point of view that was contractive, and then look at asking a question. What else is possible here? What else could I choose? What could I create with this? And what would create more for me with where I'm putting my attention? What is this creating right now with me putting my attention here? Oh, it's not creating the mood I want. Okay. So for what purpose do I keep choosing it? And sometimes you have to like ask yourself those things to kind of shake yourself out of it. And then be in allowance of if you're like wanting to sit in the muck. I just want to sit in my limited points of view right now. That gets me out of it the fastest. And I'm just like, I'm going to be as angry as I want to be. And that's like, okay, what else can I choose? Kind of thing. So that's the energy. My gosh, you guys, these are so potent. It's just such... You'll get it just deeper and deeper every time. There's just another layer. And someone asked me, I was going to answer on my feed about like, what is the switch from like cognitive understanding to embodiment? And I would say, I mean, this is how we get information. First, we don't hear it. First, we don't hear it. Like, if there's any point in these videos where you like kind of zone out or tune out, it's likely because the information's a little bit too different than where you're currently at. And so your brain's like, delete. Delete. I don't want to hear that. So I'll listen to them a couple times. So first we don't hear it, then we hear it. Then we hear it and we're like, oh, I think cognitively making sense. Got, like, I can put those together. That's not the embodiment though. Embodiment is when we actually have real-time examples, like in real life. We call them an in vivo in therapy, in real-time examples to have us get it in the body. Get it in the body. And that is the continued learning process. That will just continue on and on and on and on. And then when we get it at deeper embodiment levels, you're like, oh, that makes it makes a different sense. So it's like this never-ending, ongoing thing. So what are we going to talk about tomorrow? Tomorrow, day 7, is the radio receiver. You are the radio receiver. So we're going to get more into this, you being the energetic being and all that business. Now, if you haven't joined or registered, I have my fall welcome call tomorrow. It's a Zoom call where I am going to talk all about how talking to my biz creates five-figure cash months. Cash. This is a big deal because it's like I've functioned from trying to do business right and doing judgment, and that always contracts it, versus when I actually commune with the energy of it, function from the yes-no universe and talk to it. So I'm like, why isn't anyone talking about this? This is like life-changing. So we are going to talk about that tomorrow. You know my things are coming up. Energy Flows for CEOs, my mastermind, because I'm going to start beginning of October. I am taking applications now. That comes with a really intensive course, so you can do the study on the side, and then we have our coaching hot seat facilitation type calls for 3 months. So if that pings you, I would definitely apply now because price is going up on the 28th. Then we also have Activate, which is my new membership that's for the budding entrepreneur to start to get all these foundational, I want to say sales and marketing, but it's not. It's like invitation, intentional possibility creating in business. It's like learning all those things from an energetic state. And so this month we did get seen on social, not get viral on social, get seen. Very different energy. And then next month we're going to do let your business tell you what to do, because everyone's so focused on trying to tell their business what to do and then getting stuck. We got to do it the other way around. So that's what we're doing next month. So I'm going to announce more of this on that welcome call tomorrow. So definitely check that out. Get registered. Links in my bio. So thanks for being with me. I'll see you tomorrow.